My wife said, "If you're loyal, you'll tell everyone it was just a rumor." I said, "I'm loyal to the truth." She thought I'd cover her affair to save her reputation. Instead, I sent the hotel receipt to my lawyer and watched her sister call me crying before the divorce papers landed. Original post: I'm Shane, 35M. My wife is Brianna, 32F. We were together a little over 7 years, married for 4, and until a month ago I thought loyalty was the strongest part of our marriage. Turns out we were using that word very differently. I work as a logistics coordinator for a medical supply company in Columbus. Stable job. Good money. Brianna worked in event planning for a boutique hospitality group. She was excellent at presentation. Flowers, donor dinners, wedding weekends, VIP lists. She knew how to make chaos look polished. From the outside, we looked solid. Townhouse, dog, weekend routines, family photos, no public drama. But for months, Brianna had been using loyalty like a weapon. If I asked about late nights, I was distrustful. If I noticed charges on the shared card, I was controlling. If I wanted her at dinner with my family, I was choosing them over her. About 3 months ago, she started working closely with a venue manager named Connor. New accounts, vendor trips, late client dinners, weekend site visits. He showed up in the background of her stories often enough for me to notice and vaguely enough for her to deny. Then our shared travel email got a hotel folio from Louisville. We live in Ohio. Brianna had told me she was in Cincinnati for a 2-night vendor workshop with 2 female coworkers. The folio was for a boutique hotel in Louisville on the same dates. 1 king room, champagne, valet, breakfast for 2, late checkout. My credit card had paid the deposit, I checked the rest. Steakhouse charge 2 blocks away, 2 cocktails, shared dessert. Same night she told me she was too tired to FaceTime. I didn't call her right away. I opened the old iPad we used for budgeting and travel confirmations and found what I think some part of me already expected. Messages. Not vague ones, not debatable ones. Brianna and Connor joking about how small-town loyalty made me easy to manage. Brianna calling me dependable but boring. Connor asking if I'd ever figure it out. Brianna replying, Shane would rather protect the marriage than embarrass himself. He's loyal like that. I took screenshots, sent them to a private folder, forwarded the folio to my personal email, and waited. Brianna came home around 8:15 carrying takeout and asking why the house was dark. Duke was by my feet. I was in the armchair with the hotel folio open on the laptop. I asked one question. How was Louisville? She stopped. Then came the sequence. Confusion. Offense. That offended laugh people use when they need you to feel unreasonable before they answer. She said she had no idea what I was talking about, so I turned the laptop toward her. Her face changed, but not the way I expected. Not shame. Calculation. She sat down and asked whether I'd really been reading through her private things. I said no, I was reading through my credit card bill. Then I asked about Connor. She said it wasn't serious. I asked how long. She said a few weeks. The messages showed months. I asked if Cincinnati had been a lie. She said technically yes. I asked who knew. She said Paige did. Her sister, and Marissa, her best friend. Both had apparently been helping keep things calm until Brianna decided what she wanted, because I had been in my marriage the whole time. Planning our anniversary weekend. Helping her dad move boxes. Walking Duke before work. Booking the oil change for her car. Paying bills. Doing all the quiet, loyal things that stop looking important only after the other person has already decided to betray you. I asked if she loved him. She said no. I asked if she planned to stop. She said she didn't know. Then she saw the screenshot folder on my desktop and asked who else had copies. I said my attorney would by morning. She started crying and said it had been a mistake that got worse. Said she felt disconnected. Said Connor made her feel exciting and seen. Said she never meant to blow up our life. I asked if Connor knew I paid for the hotel deposit. She didn't answer. Then I asked what exactly she expected from me now. That is when she said it. If you're loyal, you'll tell everyone it was just a rumor. She said if I told the truth, I would be humiliating both of us over one bad chapter. I said I'm loyal to the truth. Then I took Duke's leash, grabbed my laptop bag, mortgage folder, passport file, tax documents, and a week of clothes, and drove to my friend Nolan's place. Brianna followed me into the driveway in slippers, saying I was overreacting. That once lawyers got involved, there was no coming back. Exactly, I said. By 1030, I had 23 missed calls, 11 texts, and one voicemail where she sounded more angry than sorry. The voicemail said, if you do this publicly, you are the one betraying us now. At 800 the next morning, I was in a lawyer's office. Update 1, my attorney's name is Grant, mid-50s, flat voice, sharp eyes. He reviewed the screenshots, the card charges, the property records on the townhouse, and the message where Brianna called me easy to manage because I was loyal. Then he asked if I wanted reconciliation leverage or an exit plan. I said exit. The townhouse was mine before the marriage, which helped. Mortgage in my name only. Purchase date well before the wedding. Grant told me not to play revenge games, not to answer bait, and not to act impulsively. We filed the first round of paperwork that afternoon. I moved my paycheck into a new account, documented the remaining joint funds, froze the shared travel card, changed passwords, and backed everything up twice. Brianna started rewriting immediately. Paige texted before lunch saying Brianna was in pieces and begging me not to destroy a marriage over a rumor I had clearly misunderstood. I sent Paige 2 screenshots, one from the hotel thread, one where Brianna wrote, Shane would rather protect the marriage than embarrass himself. Paige stopped using the word rumor after that. Then Marissa called and did the gentle voice routine. Brianna is ashamed. Brianna is scared. Brianna hopes I'll choose privacy over punishment. I asked whether privacy was what she called helping my wife hide hotel trips. She got quiet. Then she said everyone makes mistakes. I said repeated hotel bookings and a running commentary about my stupidity is a pattern, not a mistake. The unexpected ally came from Brianna's side too. Her mother, Dana, called that evening. She asked one direct question, was this really ongoing, or was Brianna still trying to sell it as one bad night? I said ongoing and forwarded 4 screenshots plus the Louisville folio. Dana called back 10 minutes later and said, loyalty is not lying for a person who humiliated you. She also told me Brianna had been telling family I found suspicious messages and blew things up before hearing her out. Dana said, well, I heard her out. It did not improve. Meanwhile, Brianna changed tactics. The tears stayed, but now they came with strategy. She emailed asking for one private dinner before outsiders poisoned everything. She texted Nolan from a new number asking whether I was sleeping okay and whether Duke missed home. She sent me a photo of our wedding album open on the coffee table with the caption, "Is this really how loyalty ends?" I ignored all of it. Then she showed up at my office lobby carrying a tote bag and wearing the sweater my mother gave her for Christmas. Reception called because she was crying and said she had documents for me. I went downstairs because I wanted no confusion. She held out the bag, watch charger, Jim's shoes, file folder, Duke's backup leash, said she was trying to show good faith. I said thank you, took it, and turned to leave. Then she asked, "Are you really going to tell people?" I said yes. That was when the nice act cracked. She said I was enjoying humiliating her, said if I loved her at all, I would tell people we had simply grown apart. Said that was what loyalty looked like in real life. I said no. That's what image control looks like. She stepped closer and said if I did this publicly, people would think I was vindictive and unstable. I told her to leave before security handled it. A building manager came over. I repeated once that I wanted no in-person contact outside attorneys. I sent Grant the lobby camera request that afternoon. At work, weirdly, I improved. More focus, less fog. My director noticed and asked whether I'd be interested in a regional planning role later that year. I said yes. Update 2: about 2 weeks after filing, Brianna realized guilt was not working. That's when the chaos started. It began at 2:11 in the morning with a text from a new number: "I'm at urgent care. Please answer." Then another: "This changes things." My stomach dropped for maybe 3 seconds before common sense kicked in. If it were real, someone else would have called. I forwarded the texts to Grant and went back to bed. By 7:30, Brianna had emailed that she was just overwhelmed and thought maybe stress was making her late. 3 days later, she filed a police report saying I had taken jewelry, a camera, and a designer carry-on during the separation. The problem was that Nalan had helped me collect my things from the townhouse, and my front door camera had caught everything. Brianna herself could be seen loading that exact carry-on into Paige's SUV. The jewelry case was in the back seat. The camera bag, too. 2 officers came to Nalan's condo. I showed them the footage, a dated inventory spreadsheet, and Grant's written guidance about personal property retrieval. One officer watched the clip twice, then said, "Sir, this appears civil." Nothing came of the report. Then she showed up at my office again. This time she got past the lobby by telling reception she was my wife and there had been a family emergency. By the time I stepped out of a conference room, she was standing near accounting holding a bakery box and looking like a commercial for second chances. She smiled when she saw me and said she had brought my favorite lemon cake from German Village. Said we didn't have to talk about Connor or the filing. We just needed one honest lunch without lawyers, family, or outsiders in the room. I told her to leave. She said Connor meant nothing now, that she had ended it, that she was choosing me. I told her she didn't get to treat me like an option and then act noble for circling back. She started crying and said I was punishing her forever over one period of weakness. Then she made it worse by grabbing my wrist and saying, "If you were ever loyal to us, you would stop trying to destroy my life." I stepped back and told her to let go and leave. My operations manager heard that part and called security. Brianna kept crying while security escorted her out, repeating that I was her husband and not in my right mind. That line went straight into the incident report. Grant sent a cease and desist that afternoon. No direct contact except attorneys, no workplace appearances, no contact through relatives or friends. It cost me $380 and bought about 4 days of silence. Then came social media, not explicit enough to sue over, just vague martyr posts, betrayal from the people you protect most. Some men weaponize honesty because they want attention, healing while being punished for asking for grace. One mutual friend, Tessa, sent screenshots and said Brianna was also telling people I found one message and invented the rest. I thanked her and saved everything. Then my mother got dragged in. Brianna apparently called her hoping for sympathy. My mother listened, asked one question about whether there had been hotel charges, and then said, "If my son is telling the truth, he owes you nothing but a signature." The restaurant incident happened that Saturday. I went to dinner with 2 coworkers and their spouses after a brutal month-end close. Nothing secret, nothing romantic, just burgers and an ordinary hour. Brianna either followed me or got tipped off. She walked straight to the table in the green dress I bought for our anniversary 2 years ago. Everybody froze. She looked at the woman sitting next to me, married, by the way, and asked if this was the truth I was so loyal to now. I stood up and told her to leave before management handled it. She laughed, picked up my water glass and poured it across my plate. Then she cried. Instantly. Manager came over. Staff called police. Brianna said she only wanted closure and I had made her desperate. I showed the officer the cease and desist on my phone and the office incident report. That changed the tone. She got trespassed from the restaurant and warned not to contact me again. Grant filed for a temporary protective order Monday morning. That same Monday, my director told me the regional planning role was officially mine. $12,000 raise, better title. More travel but on my terms. I accepted before lunch. Final update: the hearing was about 3 weeks later. By then, Brianna had moved in with Paige. Connor had apparently disappeared once the marriage stopped being exciting and started being paperwork, and the whole thing had become painfully simple. Evidence on one side, performance on the other. She showed up in a cream blouse and navy slacks, looking like a PR apology in human form. Her lawyer tried the soft approach: emotional confusion, marital strain, misunderstood attempts at reconciliation. Concerned for my mental state after I reacted harshly to discovering the affair, Grant opened the binder and started walking. He laid out the timeline slowly. The Louisville hotel folio, the synced messages, the credit card charges, her comment that I was easy to manage because I was loyal. The confrontation, her demand that I tell everyone it was just a rumor, the fake urgent care text, the false police report, the office intrusion, the online smear campaign, the restaurant incident, the cease and desist, the continued contact. Then he read one message out loud. Shane would rather protect the marriage than embarrass himself. He's loyal like that. The judge asked Brianna if she wrote it. She said yes, through tears. Then Grant read the line from my notes and one follow-up email she had sent later. If you were loyal, you would protect me from this story. The judge looked at her and asked, protect you from the truth of your own conduct. Brianna cried harder, said she had made a terrible mistake and panicked, said she never thought I would turn a private marital problem into public shame, said she was trying to save us. Loyalty is not a duty to lie for the person who broke faith. Protective order granted. 1 year. No direct or indirect contact except through attorneys. No appearances at my home, workplace, or routine locations. The divorce took a few more months, but the direction never changed. The townhouse was premarital, so I kept it. No alimony. She kept her car and personal accounts. We split the remaining joint liquid funds after documented offsets. I kept my retirement, Duke, the house, and the furniture I had owned before the marriage. Total cost to me, with attorney fees, card cleanup, temporary housing, and replacing a few things she took accidentally, was about $17,400. 3 months after everything finalized, life is quiet in the best way. Duke is back in the townhouse. I repainted the guest room, sold the oversized dining chairs Brianna bought because they photographed well, and replaced them with normal furniture. The new role at work is going well. I'm sleeping through the night again. I've had coffee a few times with Tessa, the mutual friend who kept sending screenshots once she realized Brianna was lying. Nothing dramatic, just adult conversation with somebody who doesn't treat honesty like a personal attack. Brianna heard about it somehow and, according to Paige, called it disloyal. That made me laugh. Dana texted me after the divorce finalized and said, "I'm sorry she used a good word for such ugly behavior." That's exactly it. Loyalty is a good word. It is showing up. It is telling the truth when lying would be easier. It is protecting what deserves protection. It is not helping someone cover infidelity. It is not swallowing humiliation to preserve an image. It is not pretending betrayal is a rumor so a dishonest person gets to keep both comfort and reputation. For a long time, I thought being loyal meant enduring more than most people would. Staying calm, staying private, staying decent. Brianna thought that too. She just misread one part. She thought decency meant I would help her hide what she did. She thought my steadiness was a shield she could stand behind after lighting the fire herself. She was wrong. The moment she asked me to lie for her, the marriage was already over. The affair hurt. The mockery hurt more. But the deepest cut was that she looked me in the face after months of deception and still believed loyalty belonged to her. It didn't. Truth did. If you've ever had someone demand loyalty when what they really wanted was silence, tell me what you think in the comments. And if you've faced something similar, or you have an opinion on how I handled it, please subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss the next story.